Good evening and welcome back to Mystic Matters. We are the Greater Mystic Chamber of Commerce, and Kristin, always a pleasure.
Good evening, Susette.
So I was looking at YouTube at a couple of our past shows, and one of the shows that I looked at as we're talking about the heat of the summer was our Christmas show.
Oh, Christmas.
And I want to tell you, this past year, I just want to say this, that was the best ever. So thank you very much for hosting so many years together. Kristin's been with me, I don't even know how long. I know how long I've been sitting in this chair.
Years.
Well, Kristin, here we are in the summertime.
Yes.
So what's going on?
Well, I am still recovering from your party that we had at Import Auto and Majestic Jewelers. Thank you so much for supporting the Mystic Chamber of Commerce. We're very appreciative.
Kristin, it's been a real pleasure, as a past president for so many years and past chair of the Mystic Outdoor Art Festival. And I just want to say, as I get back into being involved with the chamber, which I told the two people that we have on tonight that I wasn't involved, but I think there's some
Don't believe
great,
everything you hear.
There's some great energy that we have back at the Chamber of Commerce with the leadership of Peg Roberts and the wonderful staff, Kristin, Lauren, Stephanie, and the new board. And so thank you. It was a pleasure to do it. It was a great time. And to me, it was all about networking and exposure. And that's what we want to do if you're part of this chamber. So thank you.
Yeah, there's been a lot of great new energy. And we're really happy for our new members that were introduced to the business community at that event.
Yes.
They were very impressed.
You know, kicking off Mystic Outdoor Art Festival 60th anniversary.
That is
year.
amazing.
Yeah.
And Matt Beaudoin from Mystic Knotworks is celebrating his 60th year of that business being in business. His grandfather won the first Mystic Outdoor Art Festival. He won an award that first year. So he's going to be Best in Show sponsor.
It's fantastic.
So that was a nice surprise.
And we also had the commemorative painting. You can buy tickets all through the summer, and you can, for more information, you can call the chamber. It's listed right on the bottom of the screen. Call me. And you have an opportunity to win this original painting by a local artist, Susan Noyes, and it's the 60th commemorative painting. And so we have some prints also for sale, and a lot of stuff for sale celebrating the Mystic Outdoor Art Festival's 60th year. So what else is going on?
Well, I actually know that the Spicer Mansion is opening their speakeasy.
It's about time.
So they're calling it room number 9 because they have 8 rooms.
Yeah.
So room number 9, and it's in a secret place if you've never been over there, if you've never taken a tour. But we're going to have a kickoff for a sneak peek party, and I can't tell you when it is.
You see, it's
a sneak
all
peek.
These secrets down at the Mystic
So
Chamber
you're going to have to stay tuned
Yeah.
to all of our media, our e-blasts, our emails. You're going to have to be like hanging on the edge of your seat, being like, when is it, Kristin? Like that.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do.
And
So, speaking of summertime,
yes.
on the waterways.
Oh, on the water. I can't even get in touch with my father till October.
Forget him.
Yeah.
Forget Greg Gilmartin. I mean, you might as well talk about a great tan.
Yes.
Okay, and someone that loves the water.
Right.
So why don't you introduce our guests this evening?
Well, sure. Speaking of being on the water, we're going to talk about the fundraising regattas for Center for Hospice Care this week. And of course, we have Shawn Mitchell with us.
Thank you.
Director
Welcome
of
back,
Development.
though, Shawn. This is
Thank
not
you.
Shawn's first time.
I know, I'm becoming quite the regular
Exactly,
here
because he even said to...
George Brys, yes, who is here, who's a friend of my father's, and that's going to be his claim to fame.
Yeah.
He says he's an old retired white guy. He doesn't look old to me.
No, not at all.
He
I was
looks
just saying
Shawn
the same thing to George.
He is chairman this year, so it's all up to you.
It is. There's no pressure, but it's all up to you.
No. Well, it's a pleasure to be back again this year. I was here last year to talk about the Mudhead Sailing Association Hospice Benefit Regatta to benefit the Center for Hospice Care of Southeastern Connecticut.
What's the abbreviation for that? When you guys are just talking amongst yourselves, what do you...
Benefit Regatta.
Benefit Regatta.
And the mega party.
Yeah.
The mega
I
The
haven't
mega
been to the
party.
party.
So-
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Anyways, this is, the Mudheads have been around for 41 years as a sailing club. We don't actually have a yacht club facility, so we own a boat and a dance floor. So those are our physical assets.
Have
Claim
both.
to fame.
Right.
Will travel.
And last year when we did this benefit, we raised $40,000
lot of
for
money.
hospice, and for our 40th anniversary. I don't know if we can do 41 this year, but we're going to give it a good shot. So,
I have a question, George. I mean, there's a lot of organizations, and certainly the Center for Hospice Care is premier and one of the top. But why did why did you pick this particular
the Mudheads,
organization?
many of the Mudheads have been touched by, the services provided by hospice, and we're all baby boomers and losing parents and maybe spouses, hopefully not children, but the services that hospice provides are valuable to the community, and we recognize that, and they're a great partner to do fundraising for. They do their part and we do our part, and we hope that we can continue to do that to provide the community the services that hospice provides. So that's why we're in it. Personally, we've all been touched by some service provided by hospice.
So how important, Shawn, is this?
The Regatta series have been going on for Center for Hospice Care for about 28 years now. And Center for Hospice Care has been around for 32 years. We are the only community-based nonprofit hospice care system in Southeast Connecticut. Since 1985, we've serviced over 12,500 patients and their families for end-of-life care. And our main mission is to provide quality end-of-life care, not only for the patient, but to help with the families as well. So with bereavement services, with our expressive arts program, and many different ways that we help the family with our social work and so forth. When somebody's coming through end-of-life care, it can be kind of a traumatic situation and sometimes overwhelming for one person to bear if that person's the caregiver. So we come in and we provide social workers to help out. We provide with the nursing care, and so we try to take that burden off the caregiver and the families. And events like the Regatta are essential for us. They've raised essential money for us to continue these services and to provide this quality end-of-life care for patients and their families. Not only do we help these patients and their families, but we also help with bereavement services for family members and people that have loved ones that weren't even on our program as well. So we kind of branch out through within the community with not just the people we serve, but also other people that have been, dealing with a loss as well.
Yeah.
Do you get to go out on any of these regattas? Are you a
I've been
sailor?
invited. I've been invited. I am not a sailor.
But there's like a committee boat and
there
is.
Yes,
the observation
yes.
boats, right?
Yes.
Mark boats,
Yep.
various
and
opportunities
I'm looking
to get
forward
out
to
there.
it.
So, Shawn, is this your very first year with the Regatta?
This is my first year. I've
Okay.
been with the organization for just about a year
Yeah.
now, so this is going to be my first Regatta series, and I'm very excited about it. And all my years, I've been fundraising now for about 20 years, and this is the first one that I've ever had with the opportunity where people are raising money through boats and yachting and regattas, and so I'm very excited
We
about
are
it.
the shoreline.
I know, I know. I grew up my summers here, so I'm looking forward to seeing it in action.
So, George, set them up. Tell them what's happening. Well, we got to talk about the parties first, okay?
Well, I was going to talk about the racing first.
Well, talk about the racing first. We got to set them up with the parties,
All
but
right.
you
Well,
go right
I mean,
ahead.
The regatta has two components: the actual sailboat racing, which is why it's called a regatta. We expect to have 60 to 70 boats out there in various classes, doing hopefully 2 races on Saturday.
What day now?
Saturday, July 15th.
Okay, that's the
this
first
year.
one. Yeah.
Yes. And each boat, in lieu of registration fees, is asked to do a fundraising donation effort and provide, that for the hospice center. The other component is the mega party, and that is actually at 5 o'clock Saturday that afternoon, July 15th, at the Mystic Shipyard, 100 Essex Street in Mystic. Big shout out to the folks at Mystic Shipyard for allowing us to use their facilities and providing all the services that they do during the party. But we expect to have upwards of 400 people at the party for an excellent buffet, many beverages of various sorts. There will be a dunk booth for you to dunk some Mudhead celebrity.
Is that you? Are you
Maybe
going to be?
Greg.
Maybe my dad.
My back looks like an erector set, so I'm not. I'm not going in the dunk booth this year. So
I heard Courtney was in it last
well,
year. And
Courtney
she
and
raised
I did do it last
a
year.
good
but
amount of money.
I'm not doing it this year.
She'd
But
be a good
anyways,
heckler.
Yes. There's a Lumar grinding machine which simulates winch grinding on the old 12-meter yacht boats.
That's impressive. That takes a lot of strength.
Yeah, we're going to have.
You have to be in very good shape.
Yes.
Yeah.
It gets harder and
It's
harder
hard,
as
it
you
gets-
go
yeah.
along.
Yeah, as you go on.
But we have Rock and Soul Review, a great band for music and dancing. And
Now the night before, there's a jam
yes,
too, right?
I didn't get around to that. That's the Racers Jam is when the skippers are supposed to pick up their sailing instructions, and it is a jam. Woolly Mammoth, some of the members of the Mudheads are members of the band Woolly Mammoth. They will be there to play, and other people bring their instruments in and get up on the stage, and everyone jams throughout the evening. That, unfortunately, is not that well attended, so we encourage people to come out and
What time does that start,
it
George?
starts at 6 o'clock on
Okay.
Friday the 14th. There's free beer, libations, and Munchie's food truck will be there if you want to, buy something to eat along the way. But it's a good evening, a lot of fun, and
And then the rumor is what happens is you're having such a good time that you end up staying, and then all of a sudden you're volunteering for the mega party and the next day.
The next day,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're just waking up and you're moving chairs and stuff.
How many
what happened
volunteers
to
does
me.
it take, though, George? I mean, you're all volunteers because it's
Oh.
for a great organization. But
I would say it takes, at least 20 to 25 people, you know. I mean, I never go sailing that weekend because I'm stuck on land doing all the on-site stuff, which is, fine. But Courtney used to do that, and now
Yes.
she gets to go sailing, but she may not this year. But, the volunteers are critical to pulling this off. Hospice brings their volunteers. We have some folks from the Navy coming this year. We have the Moai, which is this Hawaiian fraternal organization that comes down and gives us a hand, as well as some of the Mudheads and just folks that want to put in some time and help a good cause. So
it's very, very well attended, but it's also very, the advertising for it is out there, too.
Oh, yeah.
It's well organized, it's well publicized, and it's been probably one of our signature events that have, as I mentioned, has been going on for many, many, many years now. Doing fundraising events, usually they have a certain amount of shelf life. But
That's what I was going to ask you. That's funny you brought that up
these
because
keep getting better and
Well, look at
better
the
and
people.
more well attended. It's a niche in this community. Sailing is life out here, and people are connected to our organization, and they're connected to doing something they love. And doing the two together and helping out a great cause is just a win-win situation for the people in the community and Center for Hospice Care as well.
And the farmers-
we race and party, rain or shine. So
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
wow.
it's
But
not
the
as
Farmer's
pleasant
Almanac
racing.
seems to think that that weekend is good. I mean, I think that you're blessed because sometimes
I love to hear
Sometimes
that.
Hopefully.
sometimes.
So is this a start of a series, or what is this? This Regatta going to be doing this every year?
The first one starts on July 12th. It's the Thames Yacht Club, and that one's going to be in New London. And that one's on the 12th. And then on the 15th is the Mystic River, is the Mudheads. And then also we have the Niantic Bay Yacht Club Regatta on the 19th, along with Stonington Dinghy Club Regatta on the same day as well. So we have 4 regatta series, and then we have 2 parties, one for the Niantic Bay and the Mudheads Mega Party, which is the big one over at Mystic that I hear is quite well attended.
Right.
So you don't have to be on the boat to be at the party. You can go separately and
Oh,
you can
no.
pay
Yep.
a separate
Exactly.
ticket price, and then there's also a silent auction
Yep.
there.
Yes,
and,
I know.
yeah, plenty of food and drink.
Yep.
And
For both celebrations, they're both well attended. They're both very active, and you can buy tickets for both. And you can visit the Hospice website at www.hospicesect.org and click the events page, and you'll be connected to all 4 races.
do it right now. I
Yes,
know you're
absolutely
thinking
do
about
it right now. Shawn, just getting back to sort of the connection with hospice
Sure.
and some of these organizations. Do you see that in the future? Would you like more of that, the connection and sort of the partnering with something like the Regatta? I mean, can hospice use that? More of
Right.
that?
It depends on what the organization is and how people are connected.
'Cause
Charity.
this just seems like a great fit.
It is.
you
It
know?
is a perfect fit, and some of the stories I hear from some of the sailors in the community has been extraordinary, and how much we've touched their lives. And the Regatta series, we have people that have loved ones that have passed away 15, 20 years ago that participate in these events each and every year, and just tell us how well their loved one was taken care of by us. So it makes our job that much more meaningful, and it's really great for the volunteers such as the sailors out there raising money that are really, they see what we do, and they see how it personally affects people in their community, in their sailing community as well. So it's really
Well,
just
it's an emotional connection.
it is.
I
It
mean,
is.
even if you don't, well, I don't know anybody that hasn't been affected some way or another about, whether it's cancer or something,
Right.
that disease. But it's not only that disease. There's other diseases.
Exactly.
I mean, sometimes they think of hospice as, okay, it's got to be a cancer.
No, we're dealing with Alzheimer's, we're dealing with
Right.
ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, we're dealing with all different kinds of terminal illnesses. And we've dealt with infants that have been days old all the way to people that are well over 100 years old. So we have helped every kind of patient and family there, member, any age group. It's not something that, we're specific, cancer specific or anything. We are there to help people who are diagnosed with a terminal illness with their end of life care. And we have a campaign going right now, just a marketing campaign where sooner is better. And we're trying to stress that sooner is better. It's not the sooner you get to us, the quicker you're going to pass away.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah.
sooner you get to us, the more easy we are going to take that burden off your shoulders. It's very overwhelming, and you're in a fog when you have a diagnosis.
It's kind of a preventative sort of a method, if you look at it that way.
Exactly, and it's been proven to show that earlier people are on hospice care, believe it or not, the longer you're living and the better quality of life you're having, because your pain symptoms are reduced, and you don't have to worry about that burden of what your loved ones are. And that's the number one thing that people on hospice care feel, is that I'm going to be such a burden. And we help alleviate that, and that's why we're really trying to say sooner is better, and come to us sooner, because we're going to take a lot of that pressure off your shoulders.
And the families, sometimes they don't necessarily know probably where the breaking point is.
Correct.
Where there's a lot of, well, I can be strong, or I can do this, but you never know
Right.
where that could be. And to
Right.
get sooner is better, I would
Right.
imagine that would be.
You don't have to do it alone,
No, exactly.
There's people that have been through this with other families and know
Exactly.
what you need, versus.
The number one
What do I
thing
do?
we hear from people when we talk to them after their loved one has passed is, they're like, most of the time, 9 times out of 10, we wish we heard about hospice sooner. And that's why we're saying, something people really need to know to get their loved one on here sooner is better. And people hold out hope, and that's a natural human instinct to hold on hope and to take whatever action there can. But when you really come to that determination that, this is going to happen, we encourage people to be referred to us, the sooner the better.
I take it a little bit, it's one step further, George, just to your point, baby boomers. Well, what do you consider baby boomers? And can somebody define, Allison or Shawn? First of all, can we just have a definitive on what baby boomers, the age?
I think
is?
you're.
Okay, now you, Kristin.
What are we talking
We're
about?
treading on thin ice
Born in
here.
the
Got all the
late
information.
40s, early 50s.
Oh, okay. Anyways,
I'm
not that I have a-
66, so
Yeah, okay,
that
all
makes
right.
me
Let's
a
stop the age thing. But
baby
anyways,
boomer.
just and then
no
look
one
at
else
that.
has
Look
to
at that.
confess, so.
But anyways,
It's that side of the
it's
room,
that
is that
side,
what you're
yeah,
saying?
This and this and this. Anyways.
I know, we got the divided
Yeah.
line right here.
But to your point, as far as the baby boomers, I think when I look at an organization like the Regatta, the Mudheads, and I look at the sort of the credibility organization partnering with the credible organization, I look
Thank
at
you.
this as we look to where businesses and leaders in the community and people that philanthropically want to give. I always look to, okay, who's given to who? And why are the Mudheads given to an organization like Center for Hospice Care? And when you get that credible, the Regatta series, the Mudheads, and you know the people, of course we know all the people, whether it's Courtney, whether it's Toby, whether it's Greg, whether it's, you know all the people that are involved. You say, wow, those people, they're leaders of the community, they're sailors, they're doing this for this organization. That's a wonderful thing. The other backside of that, George, is that when you talk about baby boomers, I take it back a little bit further than getting close to the end of life. I think this is a conversational piece, is that you talk about this when you're healthy. And you talk about it when you are, it's kind of like your finances. When do you talk about it?
Right.
I think it's never too early.
Never.
It's never, ALS, I had a friend that passed away years ago. He didn't make it to his 40th birthday, and it was 17 of us that were his caregivers that it came down to 3 of us, because it starts off just fine, and then all of a sudden, years after years. But I think the conversation needs to be started. When you say sooner, I say sooner.
But everybody's trained in that generation. It seems like you're trained not to talk about money and not to talk about the end, and at least
we stress a living will is probably one of the most important things that people could do. So you have your wishes laid out there, so there's no question, or nothing is called into question where people are saying, well, they don't want this, or they want this. It's no, you have laid out your wishes ahead of time, and that's why it's recommended that. I'm no legal advisor or anything by any means, but by all means, it's stressed that you have that laid out ahead of time.
But when? At what age? If he says 60, I'll kill him.
No, my wife and I, when we were married, we had it done at probably 26, 27 when we had our first child. So we had our advance directives put in order and everything in place, so there was no call into question.
At a 401k, you have to fill something out that
Beneficiaries.
says, the beneficiary. Yeah.
Yep.
So I've done that already.
That should be a light bulb in your head that goes off. Okay, something actually can happen. It's, you're not, when you're 20s, you think that nothing can happen to you, but, it's amazing that things can happen in a second. So it's always important to really think ahead. And when it comes to moments where you don't want to think about something that's uncomfortable and stuff, that's usually when it's important.
Yeah, and I think it's probably, you're less emotionally, I would say, you're attached or not really attached. When you're going through this, the emotions are so raw. If you're stepping it back and doing it a lot, you're clear. There's a lot more clarity in something like that. So that campaign, sooner is better. Better is wonderful.
I could see changing it every 10 years too. Like, I want this song. Oh no, now I want this song.
Well, yeah. I mean, you have to.
Now I want Susette to speak.
Yeah, exactly. You can't make this stuff up, George. So you're retired. And you're still doing this kind of stuff.
Yes.
So there's got to be something that you're getting out of it too, George.
I just came here from teaching 8 to 12-year-olds how to sail at Shinnecock Yacht Club.
Oh,
wow.
Today we do that for 6 weeks during the summer, and have kids from beginners up through, learn to race in little opties and FJs.
Future Mudheads? Is this what you're telling me?
Well, that's what we're hoping.
Wait a minute. George, you are raising future Mudheads?
He's hatching them.
Future sailors, yes.
He's hatching future Mudheads.
We're incubating future Mudheads.
Exactly.
Through this. We almost lost a few today because they hadn't learned how to jibe yet. And they instead of doing their figure eights, they were doing paper clips. And
when I was growing up, one of the first, of course, I grew up right here in Mystic as well. One of the first things is, okay, go take your sailing lessons at the seaport. I thought to myself, that's you learn how to swim. Okay, then you take sailing lessons. It just seems like that's what you do in this area.
Yeah, so I didn't have that in upstate New York.
No. That's I don't. Where would you do that in upstate New York?
Well, there's lakes, but still, it's not like the ocean. It seems here it's like a requirement.
It is. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's kind of like a requirement.
Except I didn't really learn how to sail until I was 40, and I went through the entire seaport program, and
Really?
the Anderson Island Irregulars, which is the kind of support group to their
Yeah.
sailing program, had a learn to crew night, where
Yeah.
some of the Mudheads came in and explained the various positions on a race boat, and if you wanted to crew, they'd sign you up, and they took your picture. And somebody looked at me and said, trimmer, bench grinder, So I got a phone call at work
See what happens?
Wednesday afternoon, and it was Reinhard Sargent. He says, would you like to come down and race with us tonight? And I knew, you better say yes, because he's not going to call you again. And I raced with Reinhard for probably 12 years, Wednesday nights and weekends, and that's how I got involved with the Mudheads. And then I got my own boat, which I don't race. I just help other people beat up their boats.
George, we just got a few minutes left here,
Sure.
and I just want to recap a
Sure.
little bit. But just tell us a little bit about the boats, of some of the boats that are racing.
Well, they run the gamut from some of the old classic plastic boats, they call them, from the 80s and 90s, right up through some of the really fast sport boats today, like the Melgis 24s and the Viper 640s. So it's a PHRF race where they're divided up into classes, and everyone's finishing time is converted by computer to equalize their abilities to race to their rating. So you can see everything out there, from old boats like CNC 33s to these really fast boats that are cooking right past you. They're like, oh, they're going to roll us. Don't worry, they'll be gone in like 20 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm going to see the
So-
highlight reel. Thank you very much.
So that's going to be that's going to be
Yeah,
great. So
it'll be
just
fun.
getting out there that there's just a variety
Right,
of boats
and
that they
it's
can
always
see.
fun to watch the boats when they're sailing downwind with spinnakers up. Those
Yeah,
are the big,
those are- yeah.
colorful sails that
Yeah.
people pop them up and hopefully get them
Well, the
to
weather's
get
gonna
them to
hold-
fill without becoming
It's going to hold out for you.
twisty. Yes, poor sails.
Kristin
up for
said the
cancer
Farmer's
have a
Almanac
bad
said it
week.
is.
That's right.
So,
All right.
Shawn, just a recap a little bit. Just tell us some of the dates again. We just want to get
Sure.
that out there.
Sure. The Thames Yacht Club Regatta is the one kicking it off in New
Yep.
London on July 12th. And then we have the Mystic River Mudhead Regatta on the 15th with the mega party later that evening. We also have the Niantic Bay Yacht Club Regatta happening on the 19th, the same day the Stonington Dinghy Club in Stonington is happening on the 19th as well. And then the Niantic Bay Yacht Club cocktail party is happening on Friday, August 11th. So
Sounds
we have a
fantastic.
full plate of events coming
Thank
up.
you. Yep, so
and
much.
They're all well attended, and they've been staples for our special event program for many, many years. And we're looking forward to working with them each and every year.
Thank you, Shawn
Thank
and
you.
George. And at the bottom of the screen, you've seen it all through the program. Support these regattas, support Center for Hospice Care. All the information is there for you. And if you can't find it, all right, really easy to find. You can call us at the Chamber because we'll direct you right to the Center for Hospice Care. Kristin, nice to see you. I'll see you next week. And
All
we'll
right.
be doing this throughout the summer. We have Mystic Outdoor Art Festival coming up at the second weekend in August, and get out there and support your artists as well. We are the Greater Mystic Chamber of Commerce. Mystic Matters. Good evening.